Yeah. Hello and good morning. Welcome to our Ontario Network of CAPC and CPMP Projects online conference, day 2. My name is Sydney Bell. I'm the network program lead, and I'm really delighted to welcome you all to day 2 and happy to introduce our first session. We've got, who do we have here? My notes are all scattered. Luci, right? Anna, and where are we? We've got Luci, Sandy, and Anna. Hello. Welcome from Brass Bell Family Resource Center. And they're going to talk to us about a cooking program in their project. So really happy to have you here and welcome. I'll hand things over to you.
Oh, there we go. Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm going to do that first. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm having a rough morning too. So we're in this together.
Yes, they threw a paper at me, wasn't expecting. Anyway, thank you, Sydney, and thank you everyone for joining us today to hear about Brass Bell's Cook and Learn series. This whole project started back in the dark days, the lockdowns, no in-person programming. Like everyone here, we all wanted to still provide our families with the quality programming we would normally enjoy in the room. So we did the social posts with songs and provocations, self-regulation tips, but we didn't know if anyone was watching or getting anything from it. So we thought, okay, let's try something different. We'll put out some healthy recipes. But then after a bit of thought there, do people know how to use the appliances in the recipe? Do they know what the terms mean? Do they know what dice and grate and divided means? We wish we could be there with them. We wish we could show them how to do it. And we kept saying that. And then we thought, hey, we can. And from that one little wish, the Cook and Learn series was born. We decided we would be movie producers. Never done that before, but hey, we're all here to continue learning, and we did it. So we'll show them, we'll be there with them in their kitchens, guiding them step by step through the recipe with their children involved, with all the benefits that go along with that. So today we'll go through from start to finish what started as an at-home online experience for the families to what we now do in our rooms.
Should we do our introduction first? That was the page.
Oh, I'm sorry. So before we jump into that, the page they threw at me, I didn't really notice, was the introductions. This is Luci, Lankimaki. Luci's been with Brass Bell Family Resource Center for 12 years in Dorian, Ontario. She has a culinary background, and her passion for working with children and families, mixed with her love of cooking, is a perfect combination for the Cook and Learn series. Next to Luci is Anna Guilbault, our coordinator. She's the coordinator for Nippic and Red Rock and Dorian, and she's been with Brass Bell for more than 20 years. She's always excited to do the snacks and simple meals with the families, and has a shared knowledge of recipes that are healthy, budget-friendly, and easy to make, which were 3 key things with Cook and Learn. And I'm Sandy, doing things a little bit out of order here, but that's kind of how I am. I've worked here in Nippigan for 13 years, and I have a love of anything to do with food. So I was excited to produce a food video.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So now we're going to share our presentation. Let's see, nope, I'm hitting the wrong thing. There we go. There we are.
Yep, that looks good.
Okay, perfect. So we created this program, the Love of Lentils, to help improve the health and well-being of families by exploring the benefits of cooking with lentils, which are a great high-protein meat alternative, and also including the families in the cooking process. The program was funded by Brass Bell Family Resource Center through our CAPC funding. It contains 3 separate recipes, each with a different focus. The first recipe is our cheesy quesadillas, and we focused on defining cooking terms and introducing families to lentils. The second recipe is a vegetable lentil soup, and we focused on sharing information about the different types of lentils and how to include children in the cooking process. And the third recipe is our lentil pasta sauce, and we focused on tips to make the meals healthier and ways to include the sauce in other meals, not just one use. So we created this program, or as we created the program, we made a manual so that we can share this with others if they'd like to continue or to run the series in their programming. So this was the table of contents for our manual. While we were creating it, the series, the program goals and the objectives were to give families an opportunity to learn new kitchen skills, define cooking terms and food and kitchen safety, provide budget-friendly and simple, healthy recipes, increase their knowledge of nutrition, and share the benefits of having the children help in the kitchen, and supporting the need for food security programs. So each week, the families were provided a bag that contained the recipe card with the tip sheets and all of the ingredients to make the recipes.
We chose the recipes with the following considerations here. Most important, I always look for in a recipe is simple. If there's too many ingredients, sometimes I'll just turn the page or scroll on by. But doing it with them shows them how it might have 20 ingredients, but it's still very simple to prepare. Healthy, of course, and easy to follow. The next one might sound unusual when you're from a bigger city, but ingredients that can be found at any grocery store. We're all small town here, all the Brass Bell sites. So our grocery stores don't always have everything. Cost-effective recipes, of course, and that's where the lentils really come into play, as well as their high nutrition. Recipes that were easy to modify for dietary restrictions or those selective eaters, and recipes that didn't require any special appliances.
Hey, Luci, Anna, and Sandy, sorry to interrupt. We are noticing there's a small black square on the slide that does cover. I mean, it's not hugely problematic or anything, but if it is easy, it might be something that's up on your screen.
We've saw that in our trial runs, and we don't know how to or what it is. We're sorry.
That's no worries. We can. There was a question if we would be able to get if participants would be able to get copies of the slides. And so if you're that's totally up to you. You can think about it and let me know, but that would be one thing. And then later I can share it with people and then they would have it. But yeah, no worries if you've tried to figure it out, unless there's somebody who can easily talk you through it right now. Yvette is saying it's in your PowerPoint template field, superimposing on each slide. I don't know that it's worth getting into a lot of fuss and bother. If you're maybe, letting us know it only covers a little bit. So
we just wanted to cover the title, Sydney. I don't think it covers
it's a little bit right for me. It's on the right side of the slide near the bottom. And it covers up just a few words. Okay. I think we can navigate through it and it won't. It's not hugely problematic. Just wanted to see if there was an easy fix. If not, Lee posted, we will survive. It's all
okay. Thank you.
Certainly not meaning to cause you any stress. Just wanted to see if there was an easy way to fix it. But just carry on. We're good. We're good.
You can tell that we're not. This isn't our forte.
Yeah, no worries. We're so appreciative of you coming in and sharing your experience. So. Please carry on, and we're good on this end.
Oh, sorry. Back on track. Thank you. So to get the program started, we advertised through email, of course, at the time, and when it will be in the room, we'll advertise in our room as well. Any families interested in joining our series with a registration deadline. We also sent out a pre-survey just to get some information about their current cooking habits, how much, do they cook, their knowledge of cooking terms, what they have in their kitchen to work with, and knowledge of lentils, of course. And the video and tip sheets that you'll see in a few minutes were developed from the pre-survey. Like I said, small town grocery stores don't always carry everything. So it was very important for us to remember to contact our grocery store before the whole process went, knowing a deadline of ordering our products with enough time to substitute for things that perhaps they just couldn't get in. Most effective form of communication, email or phone number, and a specific staff to deal with, and a set time for pickup of all of our groceries. Our first recipe, like Lucy mentioned, was the cheesy lentil quesadillas. It's a nice, easy one, as you'll see when you watch the video, and you'll see the tip sheet as well. Mm-hmm. All of our recipe cards were very attractive and appealing to look at, we thought, of course. And this is a nice one too, because if it has, I'll use corn, for example. If you have a child at home who absolutely will not eat corn, you just don't have to put it in. It's adaptable, nice, easy, child-friendly recipe for everyone. This video really focused on the terms and definitions of cooking terms. Sorry, mince, dice, grate, translate what it will look like, and how to prepare it in nice, simple steps. And an introduction to lentils themselves and all of the nutritional benefits that they hold. I didn't know about lentils until I worked for Brass Bell, simply because my mom didn't cook with them, and I'm finding that's kind of how things work in the kitchen. Traditional nuclear families sit down and eat, and the mother prepares the food. So things aren't like that anymore. So getting to know all of these new things and share them with our families is one of our shining stars, I think, here. Mm-hmm. And here's our video.
2 cups of shredded cheese is equal to 8 ounces or 0.226 kilograms of solid cheese. Cook onions until they are translucent. This means almost clear, soft, but hold their shape. Measure into a pot broth, lentils, salt, and pepper. Simmer on low for 10 to 12 minutes. Lentils are cooked when soft and liquid has absorbed. Mash lentils with a fork or in a food processor. Heat griddle or pan on stovetop to medium heat. Fold tortilla shell in half and place on hot pan. Use a flipping utensil to flip the tortilla over about every 30 seconds until both sides are equally golden brown. Serve with your favorite raw vegetables or side salad and enjoy. Don't forget to send back feedback for a chance to win a prize.
So we also, along with the video was nice. The family said they could like pause and play as needed as they went along. For those who didn't have access to or weren't able to play the video for whatever reason, we had paper printout in with each recipe bag, so they could still follow step by step, just in paper form.
Okay, so the next recipe we had was the vegetable lentil soup. Same thing with the recipe and then the picture of the bag. And then with this one, we were focusing on the benefits of having children join in the kitchen and sharing safe ways to do so. So we highlighted like different things about what the children are learning, such as life skills, science, math, and literacy, fine motor skills, and also ways that children can help that are in an age-appropriate manner. So cutting, stirring, grating cheese, using a butter knife or a child-safe knife to help with the cutting. And then also we focused on sharing the different types of lentils, a slight, or not a slight, little description on how they taste, their flavor, and cooking times, and what types of meals and recipes that they would be good in. With this one, we had a video as well. We won't show it to you just because they're all very similar to the quesadilla one. And then again, they had the step-by-step in paper form provided.
All right, and for the third recipe, we chose a lentil pasta sauce because who doesn't like pasta? As the other ones, we have the downloadable links in the manual. So there was a recipe card, so you just access the link and you print it off. It was already made. The video to share with families, and the step-by-step, you click on it and print it, and it was ready to go. For the tips and tricks of this recipe, we decided to give suggestions on how to add more veggies to a meal. Grated carrots, finely diced zucchini or squash, etc. If you have a hard time getting your family to eat their veggies, why not hide them? They won't even know that they're there. We listed benefits of choosing whole wheat pasta so they can increase their protein, fiber, and vitamins if they choose the whole wheat pasta option. If families think outside the box, the sauce can be used on a pizza, in a chili, in a soup, or any other recipe that calls for tomato sauce. We gave tips on substituting forms of spices with different comfort levels in the kitchen. We wanted to ensure families were aware of substituting garlic powder for a clove of garlic, etc. Same went with the vegetable broth, what can be substituted. We weren't sure what our family's comfort level was in the kitchen and their knowledge, so we thought we'd help them out as best we could. As with the previous recipe, there was a recipe card with tip sheet, the cooking video, and the step-by-step as mentioned earlier. Collection of feedback. For the initial session of Cook and Learn, we asked families to send feedback to ensure they made the recipe and to improve on the program going forward. We rolled with a lot of changes as we went. If something didn't work, we changed it up. A post survey was completed by phone. once the series was complete after all 3 sessions were done. We felt a phone survey would allow us to ask them to elaborate if the response was short or incomplete. We provided each family a quality chef knife and paring knife. This came from the pre-survey results that the majority of families required good knives. We held a participation draw. We wanted to ensure families made the recipes together. We had them provide feedback either verbally, written, or in picture form weekly, and entered their name into a draw for a prize. The prize at the end of the session was a child-sized cooking set. We capped the initial session at 8 families due to budget and workload. When we offer the program again next month in March in person, we're going to probably have to cap it at 5 or 6 families just due to space in our rooms. We'll be preparing the recipes with the families in the early learning rooms and sending the ingredients home with them to make at their convenience. Educators became Canva queens during this process in creating posters, recipe cards. Google Docs was also used to share photos and videos. It was more efficient than email. The educators quickly learned WeVideo to create the videos. All of this was new, so it was a real big learning curve. And Publisher was used to create the step-by-step paper copies for participants without internet. Because up here in the north, some of our internet does not work very well. We utilized reputable resources to create the program. Both unlockfood.ca and lentils.org have great information and plenty of interesting recipes. We just wanted to share some feedback from participants from the session during COVID online. Love the simplicity. There were no leftovers. We'll add this recipe to our regular rotation of meals. I didn't think my husband would ever like a meal without meat, but he loved it. A Nipigon family had mentioned. And another family had said, a great experience. However, a little messier than last. We had so much fun making a mess and learning the importance of measuring our ingredients and following a recipe. Daughter has thoroughly enjoyed being a part of making our meals and making a mess. The best part of cooking, a Manitouage family. We had numerous families actually mention that they added it to their rotation, that they liked the recipe so much they were going to make them every 2 weeks at home.
That's the end of our.
Yeah, so we had great feedback from our families, of course. One part that wasn't captured though was we would see them out in the street or in the community and they would say, when are you doing another one? What's next? So we said, okay, let's go. The 3 of us quickly developed another 3-part cooking series because, well, we wanted to be the Spice Girls. So it was 3 different recipes using DIY seasoning. So we did ranch, taco, and Italian seasonings, and the recipes had a meat alternative using beans. So I was like, yes. We're the Spice Girls finally, and I was so excited. And after that program, there was one dad in town who kept saying, hey, it's the bean lady. Not what I was going for. But I took it because we did a great job and we made meaningful impacts on our families who joined. And we're really looking forward to doing this again in the room. Mm-hmm. That is our program in a can.
I love that. I love that desire to be a Spice Girl and landing with the Bean Lady moniker.
I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
If there's any questions or comments or.
Yeah, there's a couple questions that were in the chat and we can certainly open it up to everybody here to have a bit of conversation. Now, I think this first question, I think, was from Lee, and she said it might have been answered, but I think I'll ask it anyway. Did any participants have issues with doing the program online, meaning no access to participate in the online program? I think you did touch on that, but
Well, I
any
think
more
when I
reflection?
said online, I was a little bit incorrect in saying that the families
Okay.
came and picked up the grocery bags. They had access to the link we emailed to them, and they
Right.
had the paper copy. It wasn't like we were online and they were watching it. So if they didn't
Gotcha.
have access to the internet or their internet was poor, they had the step-by-step paper copy.
Mhm.
Does
And
that
then
answer the question?
when were they watching the video? Like you were
At
making
their own,
videos,
like it was available just online. They could watch it whenever. If they were cooking at 3 a.m. or 5 at
right?
night, they could just click it and watch. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. We did have somebody ask if, I think there's excitement in sharing these resources with families and maybe experimenting with some of the things that you do. So the question was, are we able to share your resources with the families in our programs? They are great.
Yes, at this time, we still have not converted it totally to an in-person session, which is the optimal. Right now,
Right.
there's a little bit of confusion between the way we did it during COVID, where there was no in-person, and we want the manual to be all in-person.
Mhm.
So we will be just editing it, and then it'll be available if anybody would like it.
I'm curious, how did you go about selecting the recipes?
Well, I think we wanted lentils to be a focus of our first one. It was
Mhm.
something we were already introducing into the program as a meat alternative, and sharing different recipes with that before our shutdown. So that was kind of an easy choice for us. And I think, Lucy, we just scoured lentils.org.
Yeah,
for
we
some-
looked and chose ones that we knew would be child friendly, or
Mhm.
like, easy to accommodate a whole family of potentially selective eaters.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. I'm seeing gratitude in the chat. Mary Lynn says, this is, oops, sorry, it moved on me. Absolutely love it. Pulses are so underappreciated, full of protein, fiber, and more, inexpensive and grown in Canada. Barb says, this is a wonderful resource. Thanks for sharing. I can definitely see using this in our program. Rebecca also thanking you for sharing how well laid out your program was, and the variety of materials provided to families to be inclusive of how they are learning, and incorporating the children in the kitchen is lovely. So thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have questions or comments for our friends from Brass Bell here who have put themselves out there and done a presentation when maybe a little bit outside of their comfort zone? Any other? Oh, Pauline, yes.
So Thursdays, I do a segment called Easy Kitchen. And what I do is I try and use like very simple recipes that are cost effective. And, we, again, WOW is a community of like less than 4,000 people. We have one grocery store here. If Buddy down the street bought that vegetables that you were looking at, well, you got to wait till next week till you get some. That kind of thing. So we try to make it like, some people challenge me. They gave me like a can of Click, and they're like, "What can you do with this?" And I'm like, "Watch! I'm from the Maritimes. So this is what I can
Just
do."
watch.
So we made French sandwiches, which is like, and if you live in Saskatchewan or out west, they call it funeral sandwiches. And it was just, how you mash it, and you add mayonnaise, and you add relish, the things that you already have in your home,
Right.
that kind of thing. How can you make it more nutritious? Well, you can, certainly make sure that you probably introduce like maybe some grated carrot in there, some cheese, some that kind of thing. Use a wholesome bread. Don't just put it on some white bread, that kind of thing. Then there's musubi, where they make like a sushi thing where you put the rice and then you put the fried Click on top and then you wrap it in the seaweed kind of thing. There's things like that you can do, or where you actually like chop it up in little cubes and you caramelize it in the hoisin sauce, that kind of thing, and then you make it part of a rice dish, that kind of thing. So we do all kinds of things like that, and I've taught them how to bake biscuits really quickly. And so I definitely get it. It's a lot of work, because even if you do it live, then you got to watch your P's and Q's because you're doing it live, that kind of thing. and you try to, and holding the camera or having it set up appropriately so that it's getting the right angles is very difficult when you're just doing it yourself. So I've learned to like use my, because my iPhone is what I use mostly, and I use the movie maker. So I just do it all up in video clips and kind of put them all together.
Right.
So it is work, that kind of, but so beneficial that way. I really like what you're doing, and I've always wanted to do that. So it's like everybody would get the stuff, and then we could probably do it through a Zoom, or well, Zoom kind of runs out in about an hour if you don't pay for it. But there's got to be some way we can do it, even if we made it like a Facebook room. Everybody joins the Facebook room because everybody has Facebook, that kind of thing. So I thought we could certainly bring it to participants that way. And then what can we do for the people who probably don't have like a good internet connection with something? I was like, so I pre-recorded them, and then I would have that file, and if I could also send it to them.
Right.
And then they could watch it at their own pace.
Right.
Okay. So that's
Like
just something
access
we do
the
here.
file, download it when they're somewhere with some internet, either at a friend's or at whatever coffee shop, and then they can watch it then.
Yes.
When they can. That's a good idea. I'm seeing some on our mural board. We have a place to think about ideas. So I thought I'd share some of these. So, just that incorporating use of lentils into recipes. We could create step-by-step instructions in video, just like you're describing, Pauline, and how our speakers described it. Explaining terms and techniques during demonstrations. I did want to ask, somebody put up here pre and post evaluations, and I'm just a little curious, especially now that we're in this sort of, looking to do needs assessments and things like that, how you did your kind of check in with people about the project. Are you able to share anything about that? Like, did you use like a little survey, or how did you go about getting feedback?
Well, that was the post survey where we called them and did a one-on-one survey over the phone with them and collected the data, and then we would have put it into a Google.
Right.
Google.
Like a document.
Filed all of the information for us.
Yeah, right. Brought it all together on a document.
Yeah. We found when we spoke to them, not in person, but over the phone, we could get more of an in-depth response rather than just a simple yes, no.
For sure.
Right.
Definitely, that makes sense. We have a question from Barb, who is saying she wants to clarify, so that there's a manual, but it's not ready yet. And if you have any idea when it might be ready, and is there going to be a fee attached to it? Can we buy it? Is there any more information you can? We're all keen.
It's yours for the taking. We just need to tweak a few quick little things in it because it was during COVID. Its focus was like, we're not together, but thankfully we're back in person now. So we just want to take out those couple little things and just make it, though, here's the manual this is the recipe we're doing in the room. Hopefully you can do it in your rooms like we are. But if not, they can take it home, and it will just lay out the manual and take out those little COVID things in there. Yeah.
Well, no pressure, but when it is ready, feel free. I'd be happy to share it in the newsletter, and we have the Knowledge Center on WebConnects. We'd be, happy to help you get that out when you're ready to share that. I see more comments on the chat. Appreciation for your programs and recipes. Tina is talking about a program she does called Stir It Up with families. Many of the families are not familiar with using canned foods. I hope you can share these recipes and maybe include resources for how and where you find new recipes. Thank you. There's a little bit of feedback in there. Yvette is saying, I know we use the basic shelf cookbook, and that's also great too. So that's another resource that we'll try to gather in our information here. Any other questions or comments for Luci, Anna, and Sandy? I want to express gratitude to you for coming and joining us today and sharing your experience and wisdom. And, you acknowledge maybe a bit out of your comfort zone and navigating technical issues. I've certainly experienced, I've had that black spot on my PowerPoint. So I know there's a way to fix it, but I just, didn't know the quick and easy answer for you, but it wasn't a big deal. If you are willing to share your slides, that's great. Feel free to send them to me and I can share them with folks. But thank you. And any final comments that any of you want to make before we wrap this up and move into a break?
I'd just like to say thank you, everybody, for having us. And yeah, it was a busy time, but fun to provide all these recipes to families, and they love them in the playroom. We do them for evening programs sometimes, and the kids devour like 2 or 3 bowls. So it warms your heart.
Yeah,
it does. And it did make me hungry listening to you. So it's like, goodness. Thank you. Let's give some gratitude to Luci, Anna, and Sandy. Thank you so much. And now you can do the, okay, it's done. And the rest of your day can, be a little more relaxed. But thanks so much. And obviously, hopefully you can stick around or not, whatever your schedule allows for the rest of our conference today. And thanks for everybody for your engagement and participation with this. And I hope you will share some of your key takeaways on our board. I'm seeing some of them here. Lentils have many benefits. What else is on here? Key takeaways are that we can conduct sessions in many formats. Simple and nutritious is a good thing. Oh, I like this key takeaway. Don't assume cooking terms are known. Right? That's something for us to be careful of as we are doing our work. And any other questions or comments or takeaways from this session here before we move on? I appreciate, please feel free to keep adding to the board. As I mentioned yesterday, we will compile summaries of what we learn on the board in terms of our takeaways and how we are going to apply what we learn at all of these sessions. So that will be sent out to everybody. This is your opportunity to sort of give feedback on the sessions and on the conference. So we could go, our next session is at 11:30 with Elsie Amolko from Mino Care. Maybe before we go on break, I'd like to go back to our conversation boards, if I may. And I am going to take a moment to share my screen, just in case there are folks who aren't accessing the board very well. And maybe share some of what we've got here. Circling back to our connection and our acknowledgement of the land. I just wanted to see some of the things that people have shared here, where we acknowledge that land is more than geography. It carries stories, histories, and futures. And the invitation was for you to share one way you connect with the land where you live and work. Somebody here has posted that they're caretaker of our neighborhoods and custodians of the land, acknowledging we're here for a good time and a long time. So we need to think ahead to future generations. Somebody else said families enjoy a variety of night under the stars and taking in the sights and the sounds. I love that. Here's a picture somebody shared of walking through a beautiful mountainous landscape, lake, gardening. I'm trying to bring the outside inside this year, going for hikes. I see here, hello from Whitby, Ontario. I go on walks and take my kids to the park, appreciate the birds and animals. I grow herbs and vegetables. This year I'm trying winter sowing, planting seeds in containers in the winter months and outdoors, and seedlings will emerge in the spring. It's really lovely, beautiful ways of engaging with the land. Thank you. Please feel free to continue to add to this. Then let's spend just a moment or two with our warm-up questions today. If you could create a surprise session for today, something totally unexpected but valuable, what would it be called? What's it about? And here's a few suggestions. Sowing the seeds, gardening with children. That would be fun.
Green one.
What's that? Oh, another one, glimmers, finding the small joys when life feels heavy. Yes, that would be really helpful, wouldn't it? And another one is improving parent-child connections. Those are all really great ideas. Feel free to add some more if you feel so inspired.
Can I ask you a question, Sydney?
Please do.
So when you're talking about this surprise session for today,
Yes.
are you looking that as the person filling out a sticky, they would be prepared to give the session, or they would like to see a session?
That's a good question. I think the intention is more what you'd like to see or take part in. Yesterday we were asking, you know, that question of if you were suddenly told, oh, you know, you're a guest speaker today, surprise, what would you talk about? And this is more, I think, what you'd want to participate in. And then a couple of people have shared some highlights from yesterday. Help work on the person, not identify people as having something wrong with them. And that they noted just a lesson of different perspectives and thinking outside the box. And one last little check-in, and then we'll go on a break here. Let's go over to the cozy corner, see what people have shared there. I'm a little stuck, pardon me. If you could design the perfect cozy corner for today, anywhere in the world, real or imagined, what would it look like? And I'm seeing what I see here, crochet or Sudoku. Never really gotten into Sudoku. I'm not a math kind of person, but people like it. Heating pad on my back. Appreciate that. Getting outside for at least a few hours, getting some of that vitamin D, some meditation, some beading, wrapping myself in a cozy blanket and watching something or reading a book. That's my happy place for sure. Cuddle up with my electric throw blanket. That is definitely cozy, getting some of that warmth. Okay. Thank you for your contributions to the board, and please feel free to continue to share there. And let me just check, see if there's any questions here. Okay, yes, I'm still recording. Thanks for that.